What if the one thing separating you from the life you want isn't talent or luck, but calm? Before we dive in, if you're someone who's on a journey to grow, think deeper, and build a more intentional life, consider subscribing. This channel is where we explore ideas that can actually change the way you live. And this video might be one of the most powerful yet. We've all met people who seem to achieve everything they aim for: a luxury car, a beautiful, spacious home, a career that climbs the ladder faster than seems fair. Every time they set a goal, it feels as if the universe bends in their favor. These individuals carry a quiet calm, a steady focus, even when chaos swirls around them. And if you're like most of us, you might find yourself feeling uneasy, or even a little envious. You wonder, how do they make it look so effortless? Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." That thought holds the key. These people don't rush. They don't obsess over the outcome. They understand a deeper truth. Wanting something isn't enough. To truly achieve something meaningful, you have to develop self-discipline, reshape your thinking, and make your actions align with your goals, day after day. When we take a breath, slow down, and clear our minds, the path ahead reveals itself more clearly. And in that clarity, we begin to attract the very things we desire. In today's video, we'll explore this secret through the lens of Stoic philosophy, the power of calm. Now, calm doesn't mean numbness. It's not about becoming emotionless. Instead, it's the strength to keep a clear head and steady emotions, even in the middle of chaos. In fact, calmness is one of our sharpest tools. When the mind is free from anxiety and negative emotions, we're able to approach problems with logic. We become more effective, more rational. And in these calm moments, we're capable of making the biggest changes. Seneca also reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Our fears, our worries, they're usually born in our minds, not in the world itself. And when real problems do come, we're often stronger than we expect, if we remain calm. But when we let our imagination run wild, we fall into emotional traps. We create problems that were never really there. And that, in turn, makes decision-making almost impossible. That's why calmness is essential. It helps us see clearly, to act wisely. One of the most powerful examples of calm under pressure is the story of Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger. On January 15, 2009, US Airways Flight 1549 suffered a critical engine failure just minutes after takeoff, caused by a bird strike. In that high-stakes moment, with 155 lives on board, Sully stayed calm. He didn't freeze. He didn't panic. Instead, he assessed the situation quickly and made the call to land the plane in the Hudson River. His calmness saved everyone on that flight. Had he panicked, the story could have ended in tragedy. Sully's story isn't just a tale of heroism. It's a real-world lesson in emotional control and mental resilience. In moments of pressure, staying calm allows us to truly see, to think clearly, to lead. On the flip side, panic clouds our vision. It distorts our judgment and leads to poor decisions. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in real life, doesn't ask us to suppress emotions completely. Rather, it teaches us to manage them, to handle them with calm. So no, calm doesn't mean cutting off feelings. It means having the strength to guide them. When we're calm, We gain the ability to observe and assess situations more clearly. On the flip side, panic and unchecked emotions cloud our judgment, making rational thinking almost impossible. Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in practical, everyday life, teaches that we shouldn't aim to completely erase negative emotions, but instead learn how to manage them. According to Stoic thought, calmness isn't emotional detachment. It's not about shutting down our feelings. It's about controlling them, understanding when to let them rise and when to let reason take the lead. The Stoics remind us we can't control everything that happens around us, but we can control how we respond. This idea that our attitude is always within our power is one of Stoicism's most powerful principles. By learning to stay calm, to recognize and handle our emotions rather than be ruled by them, we gain something invaluable: inner strength, and with it, self-confidence. A calm mind allows us to face difficulties head-on. Seneca once said that many of our fears exist only in the mind, and that most of them will never actually come true. When we stay calm, we begin to realize most of the things we worry about are not as insurmountable as they first appear. This calmness is what allows us to start shaping the life we truly want. Calm isn't just a passing feeling, it's a deliberate strategy, a mindset that unlocks the ability to act wisely, live peacefully, and pursue our goals with quiet confidence. When we learn to manage our emotions and stay balanced, we don't just gain control over our circumstances, we gain control over ourselves. And that opens the door to incredible potential. Calmness becomes the key that unlocks endless possibilities. Let everything flow naturally. Just think, how would your life feel if it moved in a state of flow? What would it be like if things simply began to unfold on their own, without forcing, without constant resistance? Imagine the peace, the joy, the quiet gratitude that would come with that. Try to picture it, really feel it for a moment. That lightness, that grace, that effortless motion. Now, take a look at your current life. Does it feel like it's flowing? For many of us, the answer is no. We push, we strain, we overexert, and all of that effort often leads to one thing: exhaustion, frustration, a tangle of negative emotions. But it doesn't have to be this way. Your life can move with a more natural rhythm. I say this not just as theory, but from personal experience. And I'd like to share a few truths that have helped me. Stoicism teaches that a peaceful, fulfilling life depends on our ability to let go. Now, letting go doesn't mean we stop caring. It doesn't mean we become passive. It means accepting that we don't have control over everything. We can't shape every situation. We can't predict every outcome. And we definitely can't control every person in our lives. But that's not weakness. That's life. Marcus Aurelius said it well: "Our life is what our thoughts make it." This quote reminds us, it's not the outside world that defines our lives, but our perception of it. Negative thoughts, fears, and worries can fill our lives with suffering, even when our reality is far from terrible. And yet, when we choose to think clearly, to stay hopeful, and to remain resilient, our lives take on new meaning, new peace. Before we go deeper, what happens when things don't go your way? Let me show you. Think back to a moment when you tried to control everything, every detail, every outcome, and nothing went the way you wanted. Do you remember that feeling? The harder you tried, the more out of control everything became. The more we try to force things, the more they tend to fall apart. And it's in those moments, the ones filled with tension and struggle, that we need to let go. Not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of releasing control, of not clinging so tightly to outcomes, and instead allowing life to unfold more naturally. Take the story of J.K. Rowling. Before the world knew her name, before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she faced rejection after rejection. Publisher after publisher turned her manuscript away. For many, that would have been enough to abandon the dream altogether. But Rowling didn't give up. She understood something important. She couldn't control whether a publisher would say yes. But what was within her power was to keep writing, to keep improving, to keep going. Eventually, her perseverance led to success that far exceeded anyone's expectations. And that's the key. When we release our expectations, when we stop demanding that things happen exactly the way we imagined, we create space for unexpected opportunities to show up. When we stop pushing the saw, we begin to notice doors we never even realized were open. So, how do we start letting go? Begin by recognizing the difference between what is within your control and what isn't. Accept the reality of what you can't change, and then shift your mindset. You'll feel lighter, more at peace. And once you stop wasting energy on things outside your control, you'll begin to notice something surprising. Life starts flowing more naturally, and the opportunities you used to miss, you begin to see them. When we release our expectations, when we stop demanding that things happen exactly the way we imagined, we create space for unexpected opportunities to show up. When we stop pushing the saw, we begin to notice doors we never even realized were open. So, how do we start letting go? Begin by recognizing the difference between what is within your control and what isn't. Accept the reality of what you can't change, and then shift your mindset. You'll feel lighter, more at peace. And once you stop wasting energy on things outside your control, you'll begin to notice something surprising. Life starts flowing more naturally, and the opportunities you used to miss, you begin to see them. But what if there's a force at work you've felt, but never fully understood? Let's talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction. It's a principle that can help you bring more positive change into your life, starting right now. So don't miss the next part of this video, because we're diving into how it works and how you can harness it yourself. The power of the law of attraction. Right now, your life is being shaped by unseen forces you may not even be aware of. And one of the most powerful among them is the law of attraction. Like gravity, it's always in motion. And whether or not you notice it, it's influencing every part of your life. But here's the good news. Once you become aware of this law, you can begin to use it consciously. You can take control of your reality in ways that may surprise you. The truth is, you're always creating something, every second, every moment. Whether intentionally or not, your thoughts and emotions are shaping your world. When you understand how the law of attraction works, you can start directing that creative power. You begin to guide your life toward the things you truly want. If you still doubt whether this is real, just take a moment and look around. Think about the good things in your life, big or small. Every one of them is the result of a thought, a belief, a feeling you once held. This is the principle of like attracts like. Positive thoughts and emotions attract positive outcomes. Negative ones, they do the opposite. And at the core of all this is gratitude. Gratitude is the key that unlocks more opportunities, more peace, more success. It opens the door to abundance. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Real wealth, then, is not about piling up material things. It's about appreciating what you already have. It's about recognizing that you're already rich when you feel satisfied, fulfilled, and grateful. That's the foundation of the law of attraction. When you focus on what's good in your life, when you appreciate even the smallest blessings, you stay in a positive mindset, and that mindset naturally attracts more good things to you. Take Jim Carrey, for example. Before he was a superstar, before the fame and success, he used the law of attraction in his own life. He once wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He wasn't rich, he wasn't famous, he was barely getting by in Hollywood. But he carried that check with him everywhere. Every day, he visualized himself receiving that exact amount. He focused on it. He believed in it. And most importantly, he stayed grateful for what he already had. A few years later, he received a $10 million check for his role in Dumb and Dumber. And from there, his career skyrocketed. Now, that may sound like a miracle, but it's not a coincidence. It's a real-life example of how powerful it can be when you align your mindset with your goals. When you maintain a grateful, focused, and positive attitude, you don't just attract external success. You build inner strength. You cultivate self-love. As Epictetus reminds us, when we're satisfied with what we have, we begin to live a life that's rich in both spirit and substance, because at every moment you are creating something. Your thoughts are building your reality. So start cultivating gratitude right now. Change your thoughts, adjust your mindset, and you'll begin to attract exactly what you desire. Do you want to transform your life? If so, leave a comment below this video. Share your thoughts on the power of the law of attraction. Let others know how you plan to apply it in your journey toward your goals. Let me ask you something. Where is your attention right now? Attention is the gateway to true prosperity. In today's world, success is often measured by one thing: financial wealth. But there are many other forms of abundance, many that are far more fulfilling. One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked, is mindfulness, the ability to live fully in the here and now. When we focus on the present moment, we don't just improve our work and productivity. We open the door to a life rich in mental clarity, health, and happiness. From this perspective, mindfulness becomes more than just a wellness practice. It becomes a strategy for prosperity. By training ourselves to stay grounded in the present, we start to reduce unnecessary desires. We find inner calm, and that inner peace translates into real, sustainable success. Because when we're present, we're not ruled by fear. We're not lost in anxiety. Instead, we gain the ability to respond to life clearly and calmly, making decisions that reflect our highest self. Let me give you a real-world example. Anna, a gifted interior designer, spent years battling stress. She worried constantly about what clients might think, about whether her designs were original enough, about every possible failure. The pressure was draining her energy and dulling her creativity. Then something shifted. Anna began practicing mindfulness. Just 10 minutes a day. Simple breathing exercises in the morning. Nothing fancy, just presence. Bit by bit, she brought that awareness into her work. Instead of stressing over the final result, she immersed herself in the process. She paid attention to the smallest details, from the color palette to the energy flow of a room. And what happened? Her work improved, not just a little, dramatically. Clients didn't just approve, they were thrilled. And Anna? She found a renewed sense of joy, purpose, and peace. That's the power of mindfulness. It doesn't just elevate your career, it brings balance to your life. If you want to bring your dreams to life, start by fully living in the now. You'll be more effective, more fulfilled, and you'll build a life that's rich, not just in money, but in meaning. If you've made it this far, I want to say thank you. That tells me something about you. You're not just watching passively, you're invested in growth, in clarity, in change. So if this resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what part spoke to you most, but don't go just yet. This isn't the end. What I'm about to share might be the most important secret of all. Be silent. Connect with the universe. The breakthrough power of sleep and dreams. For decades, scientists have been studying dreams, not just as random brain activity, but as a window into something deeper. They've discovered that dreams aren't just background noise during rest. They're a vital part of how we process thoughts, unlock creativity, and even form future goals. Sleep isn't just a break for the body, it's a reset for the mind. And in that reset, something powerful happens. The things we can't quite figure out when we're awake often become clear. Creative insights bubble up, hidden solutions appear, inspiration flows. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And what are dreams, if not the raw material of our thoughts? They are echoes of our subconscious, sometimes mysterious, sometimes profound. They can guide us to our truest desires and help shape our future. Consider the story of Thomas Edison. We know him as one of the greatest inventors of all time, but what's less known is how he used sleep as a tool, not just for rest, but for innovation. Edison had a peculiar habit. He would take short naps while holding a coin between his fingers. As he drifted into sleep, the coin would fall, clink to the floor, and wake him up, just as he entered that twilight state between waking and dreaming. It was in that space, on the edge of consciousness, that he found many of his best ideas. His method proves something profound. When the body is relaxed, the mind can tap into a creative current that we can't access in our normal state. And that's what dreams are, a bridge between thought and possibility. So, don't underestimate rest. Don't overlook stillness, because sometimes it's in the quietest moments that the loudest revelations come. Dreams aren't just echoes of our daily thoughts. They often hold solutions to problems our conscious minds can't figure out. Sometimes, the most creative ideas arrive when we think we're just resting. But in truth, we're drawing closer to something hidden deep inside us. Answers we didn't even know we were looking for. And this isn't just true for inventors or artists. It's true for all of us. Dreams act as a bridge between where we are and where we want to be. They offer glimpses of our truest desires. And if we can connect those dreams with conscious intention, we begin to see the paths that lead us toward our goals. Of course, in today's fast-moving world, quality sleep is often the first thing we sacrifice. Stress, anxiety, overthinking, all of these rob us of rest. But when we start to see how essential sleep is, both for body and mind, we're more likely to protect it. When we allow ourselves to rest deeply, the mind regenerates. We reconnect with our inner voice and our real desires. Dreams, then, are not just a byproduct of sleep. They're a gift, a tool that helps us understand who we are and what we truly want. If we embrace and explore our dreams, we become better prepared, mentally and physically, to welcome the amazing things life has to offer. The power of the morning. Mornings matter more than most people realize. Those first few hours of the day set the tone for everything that follows. They shape our energy, our mood, and our ability to focus. When we wake up, it's not just our body that begins a new journey. Our mind is also starting fresh, a blank canvas. And how we begin painting that canvas affects not only our day, but our entire approach to life. Many believe success comes from early rising and immediate productivity. But what's even more important is understanding your own rhythm. We all have different internal clocks. Instead of copying others, learn to listen to your body. Design a morning ritual that energizes you, not one that adds pressure. Don't fall into the trap of hustling just because successful people do it one way. Your version of success might need a gentler start. One of the simplest yet most powerful morning habits is meditation. Just a few minutes of silence and deep breathing can free your mind from anxiety and help you focus on what truly matters. It centers you, it grounds you, and it prepares you to move through the day with calm and purpose. Another great habit is movement. You don't need a gym membership, a light stretch, some yoga, a morning walk or bike ride. Anything that gets your body moving can do wonders. Exercise in the morning not only sharpens focus, but floods the body with endorphins, your natural mood boosters. It sets a tone of positivity and vitality for the entire day. Take inspiration from people like Barack Obama, who made light morning exercise a key part of his daily routine. He'd stretch, reflect, and mentally prepare himself for the decisions ahead. This habit helped him stay grounded in the face of unimaginable pressure. The truth is, there's no single, perfect morning routine. The best one is the one that works for you. It could be sipping coffee in silence, a few gentle yoga poses, or a short meditation that helps you connect with your intentions. Whatever it is, make it yours. And if you already have a morning habit that fuels you, share it in the comments. Let's inspire each other. Together, we can create mornings filled with clarity, energy, and purpose. Visualize and create now. Picture a tiny seed. You plant it, you water it, you care for it, and over time, it sprouts, it grows, it blooms. Eventually, it offers shade and beauty, not just for itself, but for the entire garden. Your life is that seed. Everything you desire begins with a vision, a clear image of what your future could be. When you can visualize your dreams vividly, you start planting seeds of possibility, and your actions, even the smallest ones, begin to nourish them. Imagination is not a wishful fantasy. It's the gateway to real, tangible change. When you vividly imagine what you want, you create an invisible force, something magnetic that draws the right people, the right timing, and the right circumstances toward you. It's not magic, it's alignment between your mind, your emotions, and your actions. One reason imagination is so powerful is that it generates momentum. The clearer your vision, the more your energy begins to align with it. You move with purpose, you stay focused, you rise above obstacles, because you've already seen what's waiting on the other side. Let's say your goal is to improve your health. A person begins by imagining a strong, energized body and wonders, how can this vision become real? They don't just see the end result, but also the steps to get there. Regular movement, improved eating habits, daily effort. This vision becomes their motivation. And it's this clarity that helps them push forward, especially when laziness, doubt, or distraction tempt them to stop. The same principle applies to relationships. When you can clearly picture a life filled with harmony, mutual respect, and love, whether with family, a partner, or close friends, you naturally begin to act with more patience, with more understanding. You cultivate a sense of calm within yourself, which radiates outward and makes it easier to treat others with kindness. You build deeper, more meaningful connections. You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. This simple truth reminds us that imagination and positive thinking are the foundation of all action. When you focus your thoughts on the life you truly want, your actions begin to align with that vision. You start taking steps, small or big, towards what once seemed distant. Stoic philosophy teaches that a balanced, optimistic mindset is essential to both satisfaction and success. And imagination is where that balance begins. When you vividly picture your future and allow yourself to feel the joy of it, you naturally begin making decisions that attract the very things you desire. Imagination isn't just daydreaming. It's a vital part of how we build the lives we want. When you envision your goals in detail, you generate real momentum. And that energy draws opportunities to you, ones that match the person you're becoming. Because when you imagine the future, you're not just building the life you want, you're shaping who you are. As Marcus Aurelius said, the quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. So start with small visions, then build toward bigger ones. Be silent, connect with the universe. Silence is more than the absence of sound. It's a mental space, a sacred pause, where we can reconnect with ourselves and listen for the messages the universe is trying to send. In today's noisy, fast-paced world, filled with constant notifications and external pressure, it's easy to feel lost or overwhelmed. But that's exactly when we need silence the most. Silence isn't an escape. It's a return to clarity, to truth, to peace. When we allow ourselves to slow down and disconnect from the outside noise, we finally begin to hear something far more important, our inner voice. In silence, we begin to understand what truly matters, what we actually want, what our real path looks like. This is a core idea of Stoicism, a philosophy rooted in patience, awareness, and emotional control. In silence, we rediscover strength. Even Einstein, known for his brilliant mind, understood this. While the world saw a genius, he often sought out solitude, long walks in nature, quiet moments of reflection. It was in those quiet spaces that many of his groundbreaking ideas were born. A quote often attributed to him is, "I'm not a genius. I just stay with questions longer than others." This shows us that silence isn't about doing nothing. It's about creating the space to hear deeper truths. Why is this important? Because in silence, we escape the pull of pressure, expectation, and endless noise. And that's where clarity lives. That's where we find our direction. Silence is not weakness, it's rebirth. It's the first step to unlocking true freedom and success. When we approach ourselves and the universe with patience and deep listening, we open ourselves up to incredible possibilities already waiting for us. Looking back on everything we've explored about Stoic philosophy, one thing becomes clear: peace and patience aren't just virtues, they're the gateway to everything we desire. The Stoics taught us that worrying about what we can't control is pointless, because it's in calmness that we discover our greatest strength. To remain calm under pressure isn't just about keeping your emotions in check. It's about creating a mental space where your desires can take root and grow naturally. So now I ask you, are you ready to apply this in your life? Are you ready to relax, to trust the process, and let good things flow to you while remaining mentally grounded? A. Yes, I'm ready to try and trust in the power of calm. B. No, I'm still caught in worry about things I can't control. If this helped you find a little more calm, a little more clarity, share it, like it, and join me again. Together, we're creating not just content, but real change. And don't forget to check out the recommended videos at the end, where we dive even deeper into Stoic principles that can transform your everyday life. And be sure to check out the recommended videos at the end, where we dive deeper into Stoic principles that can transform your everyday life.